Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Dialysis is not your life, nation. Second Chance family. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're excited today. We welcome you to Own Your Mark, Reset, Go. We're excited. This right here is about sessions for kidney disease, dialysis patients and their families that we overcome and come back. The mental, the physical, emotional impact of and the stresses of dialysis, because understand dialysis is hard. It's not an easy thing, but I want to say this, that dialysis is a second chance at life. So what are you doing with your second chance? So we're here today. We talk about dialysis. We're here to talk about kidney disease, and we're excited today. I'm your host, Fred Hill, and my wife, Phyllis Hill. We're here together today. If you don't know, I'm a kidney transplant patient. I was on dialysis myself for 3 years. I did hemodialysis and peritoneal. And so we're excited today for an awesome show. We do have someone here today who will be sharing her journey. She will be talking about her book. She will be talking about advocacy that she does with her program. So we are excited today that we have Tamara. Tamara Walker's here today. So we're excited about today. I want to introduce her to you today. She's the author. She's the author of Medical Bill from Heaven. It is available in Barnes and Noble, bookstores everywhere. Her advocacy program, mentoring while on demand. She's all doing it. I mean, she's out everywhere in the Atlanta area. And so if you want her to come to your church or come to your city today, we'll be talking to her so she can come, because she's going to do a whole lot, give education and everything. She's awesome. And so I asked everyone, if you could go to her page, Mentoring While on Demand on Facebook, like her page and follow her. She's doing some big things, real big things in the dialysis and kidney disease community. She's also working with different organizations. She's with the American Kidney Fund. She is the ambassador with the PKD Foundation. She's the educational coordinator with New Beginning Kidney Foundation. And I just want to welcome everybody. Welcome to the show. We want to say thank you for Tamara Walker being on the show today. Welcome. Welcome today.
Hello.
How are you?
How's everybody?
Yes, doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm so appreciative, and I thank you so much, Fred and Phyllis, for inviting me and allowing me to share, especially on your platform here today. Yes, thank you so much.
Well, I'm grateful that you're here. I mean, seeing the work that you're doing, actually being on one of the boards with you. I'm just proud just to stand with you, to have you on the same platform together. We're working it together. So if you don't mind, take a little time and tell us some things about yourself, if you don't mind. What's going on? What's going on with Tamara?
Okay, well, just as you said, I volunteer with a number of organizations in the kidney and transplant community. We're looking forward to reaching out to our elected officials in the next few months to share more about kidney disease, polycystic kidney disease, everything that relates to us, and also share my journey with PKD. We're also with, again, like you said, New Beginning Kidney Foundation. I'm with educational coordinator. And so what we do is we come on once a month and we share something regarding kidney or kidney
Okay.
disease related. So we're doing education virtually on Zoom. That's across the country. And also they're also honoring kidney patients next in March. I believe
Okay.
it's March the 23rd as well, where they'll be honoring different kidney patients on dialysis and also post-transplant patients in the community. So I'm
Um,
doing a lot. I'm educating, just as you just shared with American Kidney Fund. I went through the training there, and I'm a kidney health coach. And so we're out
okay.
in the community and we're educating more about kidney disease. We want people to be checked for kidney disease. We want you to ask your doctors to be checked for kidney disease. Ask for that test there. There's a urinalysis. You can also do blood work there. And just talk about that with your doctor.
Yeah.
Diabetes, and I'm sorry, Fred, but I'm just going to share this.
Go
Diabetes,
ahead.
hypertension, the number one and two causes for kidney disease. All right. So we want to be checked.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to release the mic and I'm going to let you go ahead.
Now, we're gonna come back to that because we're gonna talk about because most of African American is that's us, that's the disease, that kidney disease. We're at the top. So we're gonna jump into that. We're gonna go into that. I want to go into a commercial real fast, and then after the commercial, we're gonna go into it. We're gonna talk to Tamara Walker and just take it away. I'm excited to have you here today. We'll be right back after this message.
Dialysis is not your life. The book and workbook by international author Fred Hill is available on Amazon.com. The power to redefine your life while on dialysis. Dialysis is a second chance at life. So what are you doing with this chance? I know that dialysis is challenging. I was on dialysis for 3 years, hemo and peritoneal. But you can still live a high quality, fulfilled life while on dialysis. You can get your energy back, your confidence and sex life back. Still go after your dreams and live your life out loud while on dialysis. The book teaches you that dialysis is not the end for you. It is possible to live and enjoy life. The workbook takes you step by step to make it all a reality. This book and workbook are helping and changing the lives of dialysis patients across the globe. So go to Amazon.com, order the book and workbook, and get your life back. Life is waiting on you.
Uh-oh. Okay, here we go. All right. I lost her. I lost her for a second there. No, it's not her. I lost her. Okay, here she is. Okay.
All right. I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you, Fred. So I jumped back out and I got back on. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. We're gonna. I want to ask the question. We're gonna jump in, and because we want to know your story. So the question would be: so, what what caused your kidney disease, and how did it start? What about it? Let's talk about your journey tonight. So, however you wanted to start, how did you know you had kidney disease? Let's start right there.
All right. Well, I did not know I had PKD, polycystic kidney disease. At the age of 25 is when I was diagnosed. But I was standing in line at the grocery store and I just felt a fluttering sensation in my abdomen. I didn't know what it was. I just given birth to my second son, and I just was trying to raise my family, and I didn't know what it was. The fluttering sensation came along with some flank and back pain,
Mhm.
and so I knew I was going in for a follow up with my OBGYN doctor. So I said, I'll wait until I go in with him and see what he has to say about it. So I went into the follow up appointment and shared what I was feeling, that sensation, and he did a thorough exam.
Okay.
He had no idea what this was. I could just see the look on his face. It was a look of like confused,
Wow.
puzzled. And he says, well, we're going to get down to the bottom of this. And so what he did was sent me out to get a CT scan at the local hospital there. I'm originally from Virginia. I believe at that
Okay.
time I was in Charlottesville, Virginia. And so I went out and got this CT scan. And the next day he called. He says, well, I've got good news and bad news. And me, I want to know the good news first. Come on, give me the good news. And he shares, it's not cancer. He says, that's the good news.
It's
I
good news.
says, well, if it's not cancer, what is it? And he shared that it was PKD, polycystic kidney disease.
Wow.
And so I'd heard of PKD before. My family, the generation before me, was affected or with PKD or was diagnosed with that. But I didn't know or that it could be passed down to me. We were uneducated about it, the ins and out of PKD, and I was younger. Just thought I was invincible. I just thought
Yeah.
it was something that generation was going through. It was their health issue. not knowing that it could be mine in the future. Yes. And so after that, he says, well, it's no cure for this PKD, but what I can do is just refer you out to a nephrologist. And so
Okay.
that was my first appointment with a nephrologist. And when I got there, he shared with me, of course, there's nothing we can do. There is no cure for PKD. But what I can do is just monitor your blood pressure. Just come back every few months and I'll give you some blood pressure medications. And so that was it. I
Wow.
was diagnosed when I was 12 years old with hypertension. I had high blood pressure at 12 years old, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I was
Wow.
having some issues then. And so we went into the family doctor, and he gave me a blood pressure medication. But I believe it was a medicine to make you urinate a lot.
Okay.
And so, yeah, so imagining being a 12-year-old, I didn't want to take this medicine, having to go to the
Wow.
bathroom, every class period. And so I didn't take this medicine. And of course, like I said, we were uneducated about the disease and high blood pressure.
Yeah.
So I wasn't, my parents didn't make me take this medicine. And so again, uh, I'm going back, but I'll come back around.
Yeah. Come
Uh,
on. Go ahead. Go ahead.
by the time I was 18, you get the exam to go to college. And there again, the issue arises again about this blood pressure. So my blood pressure was out of control then. And so I was prescribed medication again in order to go away to school. But coming back around, after I was diagnosed, and that was again was in Virginia, I was having lots of issues. I have two children now. They're adult children, but back then they were preteens. So I was having lots of symptoms and issues from this PKD. There was lots of pain, back pain. I couldn't sleep at night, just feeling nauseous. PKD, if anybody does not know, it cysts throughout the kidneys, and they
Yeah.
continue to grow gradually throughout my lifetime. So I was born with the disease, and the cysts gradually increase in size and they grow. And so my kidneys, they increase in size as well,
Okay.
and therefore sometimes causing kidney failure. So I was going or nearing kidney failure. My kidneys were not functioning properly. There were lots of times I was going into the emergency room with cyst ruptures,
Wow.
which causes blood in the urine, many UTIs, just lots of symptoms. And my children, I'm going to share with you, were just developed anxiety from this, fear that I will have another episode
Yeah.
of these symptoms from PKD. There were a number of times I had to rush to the emergency room. I just remember one time my neighbor, um, the children had to go over to my neighbor's house because I had an episode. I think that time, I'm sorry for being graphic, but there were just lots of blood from that
Yeah.
to rush me to the hospital. And so they developed anxiety from this. So PKD, as well with any other disease, is just devastating to not
Yeah.
just the patient, but also to the family.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go back again. Like I said, I'm from Virginia, and I remember going the last time to the emergency room, and I can't remember what doctor it was, but they referred me to a urologist. And
Okay.
I went into the urologist, and he looked at my reports and my labs, and he just said, "You just need to be near your family." He
Wow.
said, "You're in kidney failure, and you're going to need to be worked up for a transplant, a kidney transplant." And I had no idea that I
Wow.
was nearing kidney failure, none at all.
Yes.
So I was devastated about that. But you know what, Fred? I took his advice. I thought about it. I said, if I'm going to go through this, I want to be near my family,
Right.
my supportive family. And so I was uprooted from Virginia to where I live now in Georgia. That's about over 300 miles away, 3 states away. And I had to start all over again. And so that's exactly what I did, just to be near my supportive family to help me through this whole process.
Yes.
Yeah, so there were many symptoms all over again once I was uprooted. But I started a job just immediately, but I didn't have any health insurance this time.
Okay.
So I'm building myself back up, starting all over. But while I was at this job, I worked for the state and I saw a flyer. I just so happened to come across a flyer at my desk. And the flyer was for people without insurance, health insurance. And so all I had to do was fill out an application, but it was charity assistance.
Okay.
I could go to this clinic and I could see a physician, a doctor, and also they would give me medications. But when I went to this clinic uh, for charity assistance, I saw the doctors, but they had no clue, did not have any idea how to treat me.
Wow.
Again, the polycystic kidney disease, they had no idea. And so they gave me the medications for blood pressure, for my blood pressure to be regulated, but had no idea how to treat me other than that. So maybe about a year into the job working, I received benefits then. And
Okay.
so as soon as I received those benefits, Fred, I went to the nephrologist. I knew I needed to get there. I knew I was already, like I said, going into kidney failure, and the symptoms were terrible again. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I immediately went to the nephrologist to get the ball rolling. And when I got there, he says you're gonna need this transplant. So let's start looking for a living kidney donor. And so, but I was unable to do so. A lot of people in my family have other illnesses. Again, we're
Yes.
talking diabetes and hypertension and other illnesses. So, in order to become an organ donor, you have to be basically healthy enough to do so. So yeah, I didn't run across anybody, didn't find anybody. And so I began to continue working. But again, like I said, I was just experiencing these symptoms. And so finally, I stopped working. But my
Mm.
nephrologist, he let me continue to see him. Uh,
Okay.
we set up payments. But again, like I said, I didn't have a donor, a living kidney donor. So it was prep time for dialysis. So I was prepped for dialysis. That's with a fistula in my arm. So they fused together my vein and artery so I can have an access site for dialysis.
Yes.
So that took maybe almost a year to mature, for that access site to mature, and for my kidneys I think I was about 15% kidney function.
When you started dialysis, 15%.
No, 15% maybe when I got the fistula a year
Okay.
before. And I believe I was maybe about 8%, I
Okay.
believe, when I went into dialysis. Mhm. And so I started dialysis treatments. I was in center, and I was kind of relieved because I wanted these symptoms to stop, believe it or not, Fred. I was
Wow.
ready for dialysis. I wanted these
Wow.
symptoms to stop. I wanted to feel better because the toxins were building up. I could hardly breathe. I could hardly walk from when I parked at the store from my
Mhm.
car to the grocery store, let alone
Wow.
trying to get groceries at the store, walking back and forth. Yeah, so I was ready for these symptoms to be over with. Again, my children had anxiety, and I just feared the future. So I
Wow.
wanted this to be over with. So I immediately said, hey, can I be signed up for a kidney transplant? I wanted to be on the wait list. So the generation before me, I knew they were able to get transplants, a few people.
Okay.
So I wanted to do the same thing. And so while I was on dialysis, they sent in a referral, and that's in Atlanta, the transplant center there. And so I
Okay.
went for an evaluation there, and I was approved to be on the wait list. One of the things to be on the wait list, I had to have money. So I did
Yes.
fundraising.
Yes.
Yeah, so they suggested I go to Georgia Transplant Foundation, and GTF helps or assists, showing you how. They also educate how to raise money. So my family were very supportive, my family and my community. And actually, Fred, I really didn't want to share with everyone, but I had to open my mouth. I
That's
had
good.
because they aided me into getting my transplant. Again, like I said, I had to have funds. So the community and my family aided me with yard sales, gospel concerts. We have
Yes.
those to fundraise for me. Yeah, and I'm so thankful that I was here to do that, to have their support. But yeah, I didn't want to share with anybody,
That's
not at
good.
all. But I had to, and I'm so thankful that I did. And that's one thing for anyone who is listening, whatever diagnosis, just share, especially with the
Yes.
people that you love, your family. They're there to support you and encourage you. And that's one thing I got lots of encouragement, especially when I felt like I could not go on, Fred.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
they really lifted me up and encouraged me. And also, again, my faith helped me. Believing in God helped me to believe. And I even asked him to help my unbelief.
That's good. That's
Time,
good. That's good.
time that I just wanted to give up, that I
Yeah.
just thought that I was not going to be able to make it because it's a rough road. It's
Yes.
very challenging. Any illness, but dialysis, having to go in 3 times a week, and then I'm still trying to raise a young family, and I had young boys. They were
Yeah.
younger then, just very challenging to do so. And then even to Fred, I'm going to share. Once I was on the transplant list, I got the funds from fundraising. I had to have a number of people on the list who I can depend on to help me throughout the journey. Even after that, Fred, I got a diagnosis of kidney cancer while on dialysis.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I just was feeling so bad, but it was different. It was a different extreme of feeling bad. I just felt the side on my side, and it just was so hard to the
Hmm.
touch. And so it was one of my kidneys. I got a diagnosis of renal cell carcinoma, kidney cancer.
Wow.
That was a big blow as well.
Yes.
I'm like, not
Yes.
only do I have PKD, not only am I on dialysis and fighting for my life,
Yeah.
now I have another diagnosis, renal cell carcinoma, kidney
Wow.
cancer. All right. And so I was referred to a urologist here where I live. I'm in a smaller town than Atlanta, but I went to that doctor and he says, well, it's nothing that I can do. I have been told over and over and over again that there was nothing that they could do. But he did say, I can refer you out to
Hmm.
another specialist in Atlanta. So I went there in Atlanta to this specialist. I got there feeling depressed again, down and out, so much bad news. And I got to the office and I remember him walking in. He has a smile on his face. He just looks so upbeat and perky. And I'm just looking at him. What is he so happy about? I'm saying to myself. And he walks in and he looks at my report and he says, of course, I see, that you have this renal cell carcinoma, but I tell you, we're going to work on that. There is something that we can. And I was just so shocked and amazed that it was something that he could do. And he was
That's
so
good.
happy he said it.
That's
And he
good.
said, what we would do, he says, we're just gonna remove your kidneys. He said, we're not just gonna remove the one with the cancer, the renal cell carcinoma. He said, we're gonna remove both of your native kidneys.
Okay. Okay.
I was shocked. You're gonna take both of my kidneys? I had never
Wow.
heard of that. Never.
Wow.
Never.
Wow.
And he says, we're gonna take both of them. And I say, and I'm gonna continue to live.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
you're gonna stay on dialysis and you'll be able to continue to live and you'll be able to continue to thrive. And so, yes, and so I had both of my native kidneys removed. Fred, they were 6 pounds each, Fred, believe it or not.
Wow.
6 pounds,
Each.
these,
Each.
yes, PKD kidneys. Again, there were cysts all throughout my kidneys. Again, like I said, gradually increasing in size, and they were 6 pounds each. Uh,
Wow.
Wow.
Size of footballs. If anybody doesn't know, PKD, the kidneys can grow up to 6 pounds and even more. They
Yeah.
can grow the size of footballs. And so it felt like I delivered twins.
Wow.
Believe it or not, I'm saying it lightly and I can laugh at it now, but it was not a laughing matter then. But yes,
Wow.
so he removed both my native kidneys. That was a success. And thankfully, 7 months after that, I received a call for kidney.
Yes.
7 months
Yes.
after. Yeah, so I was on dialysis for 2 years and a year and a half on the transplant wait list. And
Wow.
again, successful. The transplant was, but we're still, being seen.
Yeah.
PKD comes with other factors. So I do now have cysts on my liver that
Okay.
we're watching.
Okay.
But yeah, we're not worried about those, not yet. Yeah. So,
Right.
but thankfully, I'm here to share my story. Thankfully, I'm alive here today.
Yes.
That anyone listening, you too, can be an overcomer. You too
Yes.
can accomplish this. And like
Yes.
I said, I had to have the help of my family. I had to open up my mouth and share what I was going through because they
Yes.
aided me in my journey in the process. So you do the same thing as well. Don't be discouraged. You can make it. You can do this. And also,
Wow.
again, like I said, with my faith in God. Now, Fred, we talked the other day. Now, I was born into the church. I grew up in the church,
Yes.
but I did not have a relationship with God the Father. I did not have a relationship. And actually, I left the church maybe when I went away to college. I left the
Wow.
church and I actually joined another organization, another faith-based organization that was unlike Christian. So I joined that for a while as well. But I came back into the faith. I came back to God the Father, uh,
Yes.
not just because of my illness, because of everything I was going through in life. And I
Yes.
knew that that organization was not doing it for me. It was not doing it for me at all.
Yes.
And so I returned back to my first love. I returned back to our Father. And He has aided me and helped me along the path. I tell you, I couldn't write this thing. I couldn't
Well,
make it up. Not at
that's
all. That's why I wrote my book, Medical Bill from Heaven.
yes.
Multiple doctors, many doctors throughout my journey and we've gotten many bills, but I call it medical bill from heaven.
I like that. I like that.
Yes, because I've overcome and I could not do it without our Father there to help and to save and rescue me. And like
Yes.
I said, also my family, because my family went through as well. My immediate family. I'm talking about my
Yes.
sons. They went through as well. It was a long journey
Wow.
just to get here. And that's why I give back. That's
Yeah.
why now I educate.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'm with all these other organizations and I share my story and I teach people about kidney disease because
Yes.
I didn't know and my family didn't know. We were not educated. All I received was a pamphlet. That
Wow.
first time I went to the nephrologist, I received a pamphlet. Here you go. And I'll write you a script.
Yes.
Yeah, and so now we know so much more about the disease, right?
Yes.
We're able to share with our families. There's social media. Again, there's a PKD Foundation, and they meet regularly. And then once a year, they have a conference where you all can come. We can come together and learn more about this. Yeah,
Yes.
so that's why I open up my mouth to share. I cannot let this my second life be in vain.
I like
Someone
that.
die. Someone
Yes.
had to die for me to live here again. All right.
Yes.
And so I don't even know who that person is. I have no
Wow.
idea. But his family chose to donate his organs, and I
Yeah.
received one of them. And so I don't have both my native kidneys, but I do have that one from that donor, whomever he may be. All I know is he's from Alabama. He was a
Yeah.
young man and he passed away, and his family allowed me to continue living. And I'm
Wow.
so thankful for being here today. So that is why I share.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I know your story is so powerful. And I'm so glad that you came on and you agreed to share your story, because there's some people, they feel they want to give up. I've been, and when I was on dialysis, it was one lady, she said, I've been on dialysis for over 15 years, and she was young, and she said, since high school is what she said. And she said, I just want to give up, I just want to quit. And the thing that I look at is begin to encourage her, because it's not, I know it's hard, but understand, other people need you, your children need you, and people count on you for being there. And I think that's a big thing, because if the support is not balanced, sometimes that can throw things off, because people do need you. But when you're in a place of where you're hurting and you're mentally, like you said, you was distraught and looking at what's going on, sometimes, when you're by yourself and you don't have that support, the pull on the people who need you can actually be a burden, because you like, I got to take care of them. I got to get my health together. I got this right here going on. So a lot of things that you said tonight is just so powerful. Number one is that your strength and your encouragement not to give up. That's a big one. And you said that being founded in God, the relationship that you had. This is from dialysis and dealing with kidney disease. Dialysis and dealing with cancer at the same time. Can I ask this question to you? So how was your mind in the place? Did you feel like, hey, it's over? Did you feel like, okay, I got this? Or when they said cancer, did that like knock the wind out of you? What
Yeah.
what was going on up here with you during that time?
Okay, so when I went in and I got the diagnosis of renal cell carcinoma, yeah, I was shocked. Yeah, I was devastated
Yeah.
for a little while. I sat in my car for a while and I cried. All right, that's a natural reaction.
Yes.
And I got on the phone and I called my friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
laughing about it now, but yeah,
Yes.
I called my friend
Mm-hmm.
and I shared, the doctor just said this, that I have renal cell carcinoma. I've got kidney cancer. Yeah, and so that the friend on the other line helped me with that. Hey, calm down. You're gonna make it.
Yes.
You're gonna
Yes.
make it. Just calm down.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
it's important to open up our mouths and again, like I said, share with others, those who love us, because they are
Right.
great encouragers and supporters. And so I'm just gonna quickly share some tips that I did while I was on dialysis. So I
Okay.
was on dialysis maybe 3.5 hours, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I didn't go in there without a bag. So I had a bag, and that included my blanket, of course, because it's kind of chilly in there. But
Yes.
I did bring some type of reading material with me every time. So I
Yes.
read, and most of that was inspirational.
Yes.
And I brought my headphones, so I listened to music, listened to inspirational music to help me along
Yes.
the way. Not all
Yeah.
of it was Christian music and gospel music,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
helped me along the way to get me moved,
Yes.
get me pumped,
Yes.
keep me going. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was an inspiration. Those are some tips that I want to share. Also, I didn't just stop and just not go anywhere, and life was over for me. I
Yes.
continue to go out. I continue to go to family functions. I
Okay.
continue to go to community events.
Okay.
And I even shared my story on the radio. There's a DJ or air personality here in the area that I met. We
Mm-hmm.
call Steve, and she's on the radio, and she helped me along the way. Hey, share your story on air. Let someone else know what's going on. And so I do that now by sharing about kidney disease every March. I share that.
Yeah.
And we also go out and reach out to our mayor there. And I've asked for the month of March to be declared as Kidney Disease Month, Kidney Disease
That's good.
Awareness. And so
Yes.
I want everyone to go out to their doctors again and get checked for kidney disease. Ask, open up
Yes.
your mouth, ask to be checked for kidney disease.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
let me ask a question. Well, Doll, you had a question.
Yes, Tamara. With your kids, I know you said they're young adults now, your sons. Have
They
they
are.
been tested now?
Yeah, so it is passed. Yeah, again, it's hereditary, it can be passed down. And we've learned that since I was a child. And so, yes, they've both been tested when they were much younger. When we
Mm-hmm.
first moved here to Georgia, actually, it was their pediatrician who recommended that. So as soon as we got to
Okay.
this new pediatrician, he recommended that they
Yeah.
get checked every few years, and that's with an ultrasound. And for
Yes.
PKG, that can show up on a scan, an ultrasound scan.
Yes.
So yes, so they checked when they were younger regularly.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this then. I guess piggyback from what she said is that, with your kids being young like that, and I've always wanted to interview or talk to someone who had kids being on dialysis and all. So how did you balance? How did you balance raising two boys? I mean, I know how I was as a kid, so I mean, rough, right? And you knocking over stuff and loud and all of this. So when you're looking at and mama this, mama, and with boys, it's like, let me show you this, mama, let me show you this, mama, let you show you this. So how did you balance? How difficult was it raising two boys and dealing with dialysis and cancer? Wow. So let's talk about that. That's something right there.
Okay, so there's the support of the family that the
Yes.
urologist was trying to share with me. You're
Okay.
going to need to be near your family. Yeah, so at the time, so I had my mother at the time. So she was there with me at the time. She's older. Now she is elderly now, and I'm caring for her now. But yeah, at the time, yeah, she was there. So that's one support. And then I've got a sister.
Okay.
So she is a support, and my aunt, and I have a number of other relatives. But yes, it was very challenging.
Wow.
They were preteens, and then that teenage stage, very challenging. All
Yes.
right, it was rough. I'm gonna tell you. I can laugh about it now, but it was rough. Yeah, so I was
Yes.
still trying to go up to the schools, to make my face seen. Hey, I'm still here.
Yes.
And they went through a lot. And we did get some therapy, some counseling
That's good.
at one point, and at one point we did family therapy, family
Okay.
counseling, with someone who was coming into the home
Okay.
and speaking with them, and also myself as well.
Okay.
So that was very helpful. But yeah, so anyone who's going through that with children, don't be afraid to reach out. Again,
Yes.
therapy and counseling was a great help. It opened up an avenue for them to share with someone else who doesn't know them,
Yes.
me as well, to get some tips. So the therapist was able to give me some tips as far as trying to help raise them while I'm going through, my illness. But
Yeah.
yes, it was very challenging. And so while I was away, at the hospital stints, a week here or maybe a few days in the hospital there, I had support, my family. And
Yes.
during the summers, they would go to their grandma, which is in New York. So that
Yes.
helped me out as well. So just yeah, that family support system and the friends and the community, I'm so grateful for them because I don't know where I would be without them.
That is awesome. We're gonna do a commercial and then we're gonna come back because I want to talk about the book and you can and where to get it and we'll be right back. We'll be back in 1 minute. We're gonna do this commercial and we'll be right back.
All
Being diagnosed with kidney disease or being on dialysis can be devastating mentally, physically, and emotionally, not only for the patient but for their families. Reset Life Counseling LLC is here to help you through the mental stages of uncertainty. Our program is designed to teach coping skills, social care, grief counseling, and life skills to help the patient, their families, and caregivers learn more about their roles and countermeasures of kidney disease. Our goal is to counsel, coach, and empower each client to regain their health and redefine their lives. Fred Hill, the founder and CEO of Reset Life Counseling LLC, is a former dialysis patient. He is a kidney transplant recipient and an advocate for dialysis. We have individual, family, and group sessions available. Go to dialysisisnotyourlife.com and click on resources to find out more, or call 864-256-1591 for a free consultation. It's never too late to reset your life.
Okay, we're back. One thing that Tamara said is that the counseling, and that's one thing that we do, is that we counsel the patient and their families, because dialysis actually, it affects everybody, not just the patient. When I was on dialysis, no one ever asked my wife, "How are you doing?" And, no one ever asked my son, "How are you doing?" And we can really share the story, like you said, with your son. Me being in having to leave in the middle of the night, going to the hospital, and have to take my son either to my sister's house or to her mother's house or her sister's house, and in the middle of the night, and he's not knowing what's going on. Then he got to go to school. He's crying. He's hurt. And then she's the same way. And it can really come to a place to where it can cause some distress mentally. And so and it can cause stress in marriage, and however, those different things that you look at. And so I say to those, please contact me, let me know if you need help in that area, because we are here to help. I want to ask Tamara, getting back to you, your book. Can you talk about the? I know you're talking about the book as you, like you said, it's the book of the life. But go ahead and share the story of the book if you want, and how to get the book. How to get the book.
Well, I'm going to briefly share because I've got one more thing I want to get to before, the hour is up. But
Okay.
it is Medical Bill from Heaven. Not sure if you can see. Medical Bill from Heaven by T.Y. Walker. That's my name there. I'm the author, and it is a book about my journey. All right. I share about the transplant. I share about dialysis. I even share the childhood issues in here as well. Again, you heard me say I was diagnosed at 12 with high blood pressure. So all that's in there as well. And then at the rear of the book, I share about the tips, strategies, how I overcame, just as
Yes.
you heard me say just a few minutes ago. So there are lots of tips in there, what to do. Again, like I said, I didn't have insurance. There's tips in there about the insurance,
That's good.
how I overcame that.
That's
There's
good.
Medicare, some answers in there about Medicare as well. Yeah, so it can be helpful. And if you want to find it, it is on lulu.com, lulu.com, under T.Y. Walker, or you can simply buy it on Amazon in the ebook version. So
Okay.
you can Google that, Medical Bill from Heaven by T.Y. Walker. Yeah. So thank you so much for allowing me to share. Yes.
Yes, we are excited. I'm excited. And we're gonna did you have something else, Peg? Okay. We're gonna move to the next section of the education. Is that you want to move to that, or you
Yes. Before the hour is up, yes, we
okay?
want to share about kidney. Yes, we want to share about this and teach some people because
Yes.
crashing into dialysis, as Fred has shared with me, we're just crashing into, and as a community, we don't know much about this.
Yes.
All right. So again, everybody, this is about chronic kidney disease. I'm an AKF, American Kidney Fund kidney health coach. All right, trained from AKF.
I'm
And
sorry.
my people, they perish because the lack of what?
Of knowledge.
The
Yes.
lack of knowledge. And that's why
Yes.
we today sharing
Yes.
all
Yes.
about kidney disease. All right. So Fred is going to help me with that. And so while he's going to the next slide there, here's a quick question. Now, how many of us know anyone with diabetes or high blood pressure or hypertension? All right.
Yes.
And so everyone in the audience, I'm pretty sure you know someone.
Yes.
All right. And it's a substantial amount of people. Yeah. So today, that's why we're discussing this. And we're going to share about the kidneys, what they do, what is CKD, ways to prevent it, and those treatments. All right. Next
Okay.
slide. All right. So we're sharing what the kidneys are and what they do. Next slide. All right. So they're bean shaped. Kidneys, they are bean shaped organs. All right. We have two of them. All right. And they're located in the lower back of our backs, on the lower side of the back there, on both sides there. Now, I was experiencing some of this pain, like you heard me say, some back and flank pain there.
Yes.
And that's where that was the location of both of my kidneys. But as you heard me say, I only have one kidney, and that's a donated kidney, so you can live with
Yeah.
just, and I'm functioning very fine. I'm almost 10 years out from my transplant. That was back in 2014, November of 2014. So believe it or not,
That's
you can
awesome.
live with just one. All right. So if you want to become an organ donor, a living kidney donor, you can do that and you can live well. All right.
Yes.
Next slide. All right. All right. So what do our kidneys do? All right. Here's just an example. They filter the waste, remove that extra fluid from the body to make urine. All right. They also keep those bones healthy. All right. They distribute some hormones to help this process. They make those red blood cells. You've heard about anemia and feeling tired. All right.
Yes.
So kidney is failing and it's not functioning properly, you're missing some of those red blood cells. They control blood pressure. Again, those hormones help that, and they help to keep the right amount of minerals regulated in your body. What kind of minerals? That's phosphorus, the potassium, the
Yes.
calcium. They help to regulate that. And next slide. All right. So, how do your kidneys work? They filter waste again, just like we discussed. They make this urine once it's filtered. So if you can think of a coffee, an old-fashioned coffee pot, and in that old-fashioned coffee pot, it uses a filter,
Yeah.
and you place those coffee granulars in that filter. That is what I'm trying to say. So imagine the water coming through those granulars and going through the filter, and then you get some fresh coffee without that ground up coffee beans. So that is similar to what the kidneys are doing. It's filtering, the blood is coming in, it's filtering out all of those toxins, all of that build up, that waste, and it's getting rid of some of the fluid that is
Yeah.
in our bodies as well. And that's through these thin tubes, ureters in our body. All right, next slide. All right, so damage to the kidneys. What happens when they're damaged? All right, this means that the waste, those toxins, and that extra fluid is unable to be excreted from the body.
Yeah.
All right, so blood is entering and it's damaged. The kidneys are damaged there. The vessels are damaged, and waste, it stays in the body. So there is fluid buildup. So you've seen people, they have the extremities um, are swollen. So that's one of the signs. Um, you're not urinating as much as you should. That's one of the signs. So it's not filtering out this waste and the toxins in your body because there's damage to those blood vessels.
Yeah.
Next slide. All right, what's CKD? Next slide. We call it chronic kidney disease. All right, it's permanent damage to your kidneys. It won't go away. And you've heard some people say you can reverse it. In some cases, if we reach it, early enough,
Yeah.
we can gradually decrease it. All right, but this is CKD, chronic kidney disease, that's permanent damage. All right, you may be able to prevent it or slow this process down. All right, and that's what we want to do, especially by asking to be checked for kidney disease with your physician. Next slide. All right, so how many adults in the US have CKD? All right, next slide. And that answer is B,
Wow.
15%. That's 1 in 7 adults have kidney disease. There are 37 million people with kidney disease.
Disease.
Some of us don't even know it. All right. So that's why we want to ask to be checked for kidney disease.
Right.
So we won't fall into kidney failure. So we won't crash into dialysis. Next
Yes.
slide. All right. These are those 5 stages. All right. Stage 1 through 5. Now, in stages 1 through 3, all right, we can slow down this process. That's if we know about it.
Right.
So in those stages, you can kind of help this from progressing. But in stages 4 and stages 5, you are nearing kidney failure, and then especially in stage 5, you are already in kidney failure. And so if you're already in kidney failure, you're going to need some treatments. So we're going to talk about that. Next slide. So kidney failure is called ESRD, end stage renal disease, right? And if you're in Social Security and disability, that's what this is called. Kidney failure is called ESRD. So your kidneys have stopped working or is nearing stopping working or progressing well enough to keep you alive, all right? And you're either headed to those treatments, that's one dialysis, or either needing a transplant. Next slide. All right. So they're getting those symptoms are getting worse again gradually over time. And most people, they don't have any symptoms at all. That's again in stages 1 through 3. You may have lots of symptoms in stages 4 and stages 5. And the only way you know that you have it again is to get checked. All right. So we're going to ask our doctors to do so. Next slide. All right. Here's some symptoms of advanced kidney disease. And some of them I talked about. And if you can't figure out what these signs are or what these pictures represents, it's on the next slide. I want you to figure out what this is. That first one there, it kind of, what does it look like? He's having some irritation there, that first slide.
Yes.
And that second one, we're talking about those extremities again.
Yes.
All right. And that third one there, it looks like he's bent over. He's experiencing something there. And that fourth one, some of these you can kind of figure out, but we're going to go to the next slide and share with you. I hope you guessed some of them. All right. So that first one, that itchy skin. Go back one more, Fred. That itchy skin. Yes. A lot of us have experienced that, wondering what in the world is this? Yeah, so that is the result of the toxins that have built up in our blood.
Did I mix it?
And that second one there, go to the next one. Next
Okay.
slide.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And so we're talking about that swelling in our ankles. You probably seen some people with that, just feeling nauseous, sick to the stomach. And I had a lot of this, especially it felt like I couldn't eat. I had that full feeling. And then there's some not being able to sleep and some gout there as well. Some people have experienced gout. That's inflammation or buildup in those joints. Not having to go to the bathroom as much, a decrease in the urine. Yeah, not able to sleep. So those are some symptoms there of advanced kidney disease. Next slide. All right, so here are some more health problems. Anemia, which you heard me talk about, that's those red blood cells we're not producing. And again, that gout that I talked about, some of us are familiar or know someone with that. And high potassium, that's hyperkalemia, all right? And that can affect us as well. Too much potassium. And so that's why, or where the kidney health diet or the kidney diet comes in, especially if you're on dialysis. You're going to have to decrease some of these items that we love in our intake. Next slide. All right. So if you find out you have this early enough, you may be able to stop some of this damage or keep it from getting worse. That's why we're again asking our doctors to be checked for kidney disease. It's very important to do so. Next slide. So who can get CKD or who can get kidney disease? Anybody. Anyone.
That's good.
Right. So, but number one and number two reasons for kidney failure is diabetes and high blood pressure. Next slide. All right. So what's the number one cause of CKD? I think I've already shared it. Next slide. All right. That's diabetes. All right. Some people, you hear the older generation say sugar. My sugar is up. Diabetes. That also affects the kidney. Next slide. It damages some of those nerves, some of that in the kidneys, some of those vessels. As if you had too much sugar or glucose in your body. So over time, high glucose can damage those blood vessels that we're talking about. All right, next slide. All right. The number 2 cause of CKD, next slide. High blood pressure, hypertension. Yes. Next slide. So we can cut down on some of this, especially in our eating habits.
Yes.
It's very hard to make a lifestyle change, but you can do it. You can do it. High blood pressure means that your heart is working overtime. It's working too hard to pump your blood through those blood vessels.
Wow.
All right. Over time, this also damages the blood vessels in your kidney. Next slide. All right. So there's some tests for these. Again, kidney disease. All right. Urinalysis. That's the urine test. They can check that to see if there is levels of protein in the urine, and that's from your body breaking down, or your organs breaking down, and that protein is in the urine. All right, and it can detect the damage. And next slide. All right, so urine test checks the albumin to creatinine ratio. All right, so creatinine, I know some people have already heard of this. Creatinine, a waste product in the blood. All right, so in that urinalysis, that's what it's checking there. Next slide. All right, and also you can get a blood test, EGFR. I know some people have already heard of it. Estimated, I always get tongue tied after this one. Global, all right, the filtration. Get tongue tied, I'm sorry. All right, so that's a test that you can also, a blood test. All right, you can ask for that at your doctor's appointment, especially at your yearly, your annual.
Yeah.
I know in January, lots of people, they go in for their annual. Make sure you're asking for these tests, all right? That can give you signs of CKD. Next slide. All right, these are the different stages as well, if you want to quickly take a look at that. Again, stages 1 through 3, you can kind of gradually stop the progression. But once you're in 4 and 5, that's about it. All right, next slide. All right, so you want to keep track of first, the creatinine level. Also, with your diabetes, if you have diabetes, you want to keep track of the glucose levels, the AC1 as well. Next slide. All right, so what's the next steps that you're going to take? You're going to ask your doctor, like I've been saying, to be checked for kidney disease. Ask the doctor about your blood sugar levels, your glucose levels, and also your blood pressure. And I'm pretty sure when you go in to be seen, the nurse is already taking your blood pressure, but you want to ask about what is your reading? What were your readings? 120 over 80 is the norm. So anything elevated, you want to ask more about it. Hey, sit down with the doctor and make him accountable.
Yeah.
Ask him all about it. Say, hey, share with me, educate me about my blood pressure. Tell me about my glucose readings, my A1C. Tell me all about it and what I can do to stop the progression. Next slide. All right, so here's some ways quickly that we're going to try to prevent. Next slide. All right, it's possible to prevent or slow it down. And that is, again, like we talked about the blood pressure. We want to, especially our diet, we don't want to eat out as much. Try to prepare some of your meals at home from scratch. Some preservatives are in some of the food items that we get. So we want to try to slow that down because that can be detrimental to us as well. Next slide. You want to manage that diabetes, you want to check that blood sugar as often as you can. You want to go to all of your doctor's visits, meet with your doctor and your dietitian, and discuss ways that you can make a lifestyle change. And that's one thing that we had to do, especially while we were on dialysis. We had to eat the kidney-friendly diet. And so that's like cutting out lots of carbs, dairy, cheese. We had to cut out lots of items, especially from, and for me, I'm just going to share, I had to make 2 different meals. One for my children because they didn't want to eat like I was, and then one for them. Yeah, so
Yes.
myself. Yeah,
Yes.
I would have if they're eating cheeseburgers, if I'm making burgers that night, I will have myself just a plain burger, no cheese, and just eat a salad. And for them, they can
Yeah.
eat regularly. French fries, to cut out the potatoes. Try to cut out most of those fried foods and try to either bake chicken or bake your fish or grill it. And
Yes.
that's a way.
Yes.
Yeah, one step that we can do. Not eat as much fried foods. I know we love it, especially here in the South where I am. So it's nothing wrong with it, just dabbling every now and then, but not indulging.
Right.
Oh,
That's good. Yeah,
Moderation.
moderation. Yeah, that's good.
yes. All right. So next slide. So I don't want to share everything because we're over time there. But here's some ways we can control the blood pressure. Again, take your medications. And that's one thing I did not do when I was younger, but I am doing it now. Checking your blood pressure regularly at home, and also
That's good.
at the, I guess, Walgreens, CVS, those drugstores. I'm not sure if they have them now, but they used to have the machines there that are able to check your blood pressure.
Hmm.
Yes,
Okay,
they
so
have
if
them.
you're on your lunch break and you're in there, go in and get your blood pressure checked in that machine. We want to eat healthier again, like I said, not eating out as much, those drive-throughs. We want to cut down on the drive-throughs because the items there have lots of sodium and preservatives, and those items can be detrimental. Next slide. All right, so we want to work out as much as we can, and that's includes walking. Again, from you can park as far out as you can from the store and walk to the front. And that's a ways. If you park to the further end
Mm-hmm.
and walk to the store, that could be a walking session as well. Mhm.
Yes.
Again, we're going to
Yes.
limit the intake of our sugar and our salt, our sodium. We want to eat healthy fats, and that could be when you're cooking. We want to use canola oil.
Canola. That's
So,
good.
yeah, instead of those, I don't know, back in the day, they used to use lard and such. Want to cut that out? Canola oil.
Right.
Fry something, yeah. So we want to control those portions and sizes as well. So if we're eating meat, we just want to eat the size of a fist. That's especially if you're on have kidney disease. Only the size of a fist should be your portion. Next slide. All right, limiting that sodium, especially if you have hypertension. Here it says 2,300 milligrams or less a day. For me, that'll only be 1,500 because I cannot tolerate. If I eat anything that's too much salt, you can definitely see it. I'm swollen, my
Wow.
extremity, especially my face. So I want to be careful, and so we want you to be careful as well. Some items, if you're eating out, already have sodium in it, and some of the dressings may also have it. So you don't want to add more to that. All right.
Yes.
Next slide.
It's good.
Read those food labels. All right. And look for sodium on the back of those cans, sodium, and also the sugars, especially if you're getting canned foods. I try not to stay away from canned foods and to eat the fresh frozen vegetables. But if you are getting those in the can or packaged, make sure you're looking at the sodium content, that level back in the
That's
bag,
good.
sodium and the sugar levels there. All right.
That's good.
And it says here on the slide that a high sodium food has 20% or more of the daily value. Next slide.
Wow.
All right, so we're limiting our sugars as well. All right, so we want to use those fresh and sometimes frozen vegetables. They have sugar already in it. If
Mm-hmm.
you satisfy a craving or a quote unquote sweet tooth, you can get some frozen vegetables there. I've got some in my freezer. I'm sorry, frozen strawberries. Those
Yes.
berries. I used to just get some yogurt and just sprinkle that over top of that and put some granola in it. Very good, very good.
That's
We
good.
can make a smoothie if you got that sugar tooth or sweet tooth.
Sweet
But you
tooth.
want
Yeah.
to avoid some of these processed foods, especially. And if you're baking any items, try to bake it from scratch at home on your own. And therefore, you know what's in it. You won't have as much preservatives, and it is fresh. Next,
Yes.
again, reading those labels for the sugar.
Yes.
4 grams of sugar equals 1 teaspoon, right, It's high in added sugars if it is 20% or over in the daily value. All right, so that's what we're looking on the back for as well. Next slide. And let me know when you're ready to stop, Fred. I don't want to go over too much time.
Now finish the slide because we this is what we here for. We'll be fine. We'll be fine because I mean somebody we all need it. We all need it. I went over it. I don't want to say went over with the interview because everything was needed. Let's keep going and we'll finish it. We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
All right. So we're talking about the meal again. So we're gonna use those lean meats or cuts. And when we're saying lean, that means without the added fat, and that is the skin that's on it. So when we're choosing, I don't know, your chicken breast, when you're getting your drumsticks, you can take off some of the fat before you cook.
Yeah.
Fish as well. All right, and again, we want to grill some of those items, bake it. Uh-huh. And we want to try some beans, lentils, quinoa. That's a word there, that Quinoa. Now, I've tried some of this and was very successful at it.
Okay.
It tastes kind of bland, but I added some items to it and ate with my meal. So
Okay.
you want to do that as well. Again, we're talking about these fats, so we want to use canola oil, especially if you're frying or if you're baking, add the canola oil. Next slide. Again, eating more fruits, vegetables there in your diet. You can just throw it in, especially for breakfast. We got our oatmeal. Just put a few blueberries on top. Again, you can get these frozen. Instead of buying it so fresh that it'll spoil quicker, just buy a frozen bag.
Yeah.
You can make some smoothies as well every once in a while. It's
Okay.
definitely doable. You can do this. Next slide. Yeah, again, we're controlling that serving size. Again, your meat's only the size of a fist. All right. Next
Yes.
slide. All right, so we're talking about the kidney friendly meal again. I'm not sure if everyone in the audience is familiar with this. All right, so we want to fill your plate with just a little grain, some protein, a handful of fruit, a handful of grains again, and just a little dairy if you have to have dairy at all. All right, but if you want it just to fit in the size of your hand. Next slide.
That's good.
All right. So yeah, next slide. hmm So we're talking about what foods fit into each food group. So I don't want to go over this anymore because we've talked about it. So
Okay.
let's see what's at the end of these slides.
Okay.
Go on to the next one. All right. So I believe that is it. So this is the Kidney Kitchen. You can go to American Kidney Fund's website and you can click on the Kidney Kitchen there, and they'll have lots of recipes for you.
That's good.
There are videos there as well where there's
That's
a
good.
chef who is preparing the meal there, so you can go along with the chef and prepare the meals. And they also have, I believe, a list of ingredients as well, so you can go shopping for those ingredients before you start your meal. Next slide.
That's a good one. I didn't know that. I write that one down. That's a good one.
Yes,
That's really
American
good.
Fund Kidney Kitchen. They're also on YouTube as well. If you
Okay.
like to go on YouTube to find some of those meals.
That's good.
Next slide. So we want to be active as much as possible. Walking the dog, again, parking as far out as you can from the store, walking up and down the stairs, especially if you're at work, instead of taking the elevator, you can do that. Next slide. Here's some other ways to prevent kidney disease. That's smoking. If you're smoking, definitely you want to cut out on that. It affects our blood vessels as well.
Yes.
Drinking alcohol. Not saying that you don't need to drink, but just cut down on it.
Yeah.
Next slide. Three things you can do to prevent CKD. Next slide. Mhm. So here's some treatments quickly for kidney failure, and I believe we touched on it. Next slide. Mhm. Next slide. So we know about these treatments. There's dialysis. I believe I heard you say, Fred, something about peritoneal dialysis
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
We call
That's
that
what I
peritoneal
did.
hemodialysis. So hemodialysis, when we're going into the in-center, again, you heard me say my access site. There were 2 needles. They were placed in my arm at the access site. The blood is removed from my body. It's cleaned in the machine, and it is forced back into my body.
Wow.
Next slide. This is more about hemodialysis. Again, this is a machine. Again, it cleans out blood and it puts it back in. For me, I had to go 3.5 hours, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Some people are able to do this each day, especially at night. So they were able to function and go to work, go to school, then come back home and nightly take hemodialysis.
Wow.
Next slide. There's home hemodialysis. Like I talked about, you can do this at home. And that's with a family member there as well to help you out. You can continue working, continue going to school. So don't be afraid of dialysis. If this is a diagnosis of kidney failure and your nephrologist says, hey, you're gonna have to start dialysis, don't be afraid. You can do this. There are lots of different ways, modalities to have dialysis. Like we said, at home, you can go to in-center where you're among other people, where you can talk to other people who are going through the same journey. Next slide. Again, PD dialysis, there's a tube coming from your belly, your abdomen. Next slide. And then there's kidney transplant, like Fred and I have had.
Yes, thank God.
That is from a living, that could be from a living kidney donor, and that can be from a deceased donor, just like I had. And so while we're talking about it, we want you also to sign up to become an organ donor.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Up on your driver's license when you go in to do that. All right. Also, you can go to the websites. For me, I'm in Georgia. There's Donate Life, lifelink.com. There's also other organ procurements organizations there where you can sign up to become an organ donor. All right. And so I don't want to go on and talk more. I want to go ahead and we're going to cut it off right here to see.
You sure? Okay.
Does anyone have any questions?
Okay.
And if not, I just thank everybody for listening today. I thank you too, Fred and Phyllis, for allowing me to share on your platform again. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We thank you. I'm telling you, the education, and I do apologize for going over. No, I can't apologize. I take that back.
Not at all.
Yeah, I can't. I take that back. What we will do, like I said before, because this educational part is definitely needed to where each quarter I want to do this. And so the next quarter we'll come in and we'll make sure that we'll set it up right so that we'll do the full thing. I don't know how much left in there, but I mean it's a lot of information and it is helping and it is actually needed because we need to know, and especially when you're looking at not paying attention to your blood pressure or you could be diabetic and not really know it. The thing is getting to the place to where you don't crash into it. That's the thing, is paying attention. And so I do want to tell you, thank you so much for being on the show tonight. It was absolutely awesome. I tell you, absolutely awesome.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing your story. Oh my God. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you so much. And I do want to tell everyone, please make sure you go and is it Lulu?
Go to lulu.com, or you can go to Amazon for this, or you can just Google Medical Bill from Heaven by T.Y.Walker.
T.Y.Walker. So please, lulu.com, amazon.com. It's available. And her story is so powerful. It will change your life. And it will encourage you and lift you up to let you know you're not by yourself. What you're dealing with right now, you're not alone. And you can make it. Like she said, you can make it through the dialysis. You can continue. You can raise the kids. You make sure you support opening your mouth. Her story speaks volume. It speaks volume. Yes. And so I ask everyone to share this as even when we close it, share this so someone that that may be dealing with kidney disease, that may be on dialysis, PKD, to understand that there is help and we're here for help. So we want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I do want to say this on Monday coming, we'll have Motivation with Fred at 10:15. That's every Monday. And then next week, we'll be here with Anthony Reed. If he's with Kidney Trails Foundation, he's a transplant patient as well. So next Thursday, he will be here sharing his story as well. Y'all, we're making a difference in the kidney disease and the dialysis community with the people, as you see it, who's going through it, and not just those who just hear about it. So please share, follow us on Facebook, Instagram as well, YouTube as well. I want to say thank you until next time. Tamara, don't go anywhere. We're finna close out. Thank you so much. Baby, you have anything you want to say?
No, but thank you again.
All right. Don't go nowhere yet, Tamara. Here we go.
Motivate.